Hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining me on this voyage. We're going to check out melodic shapes and devices in this lesson. First of all, we'll start off with melodies in motion, the different shapes and forms that melodies can take. We're not analyzing them in the sense of exactly what interval the gap is between each individual note because you don't need to do that all the time. But here is what an entire phrase can look like. And this particular kind of melodic phrasing is called conjunct, also known as stepwise. It's when notes in a melody move to the next note in the scale. And we have the opposite, disjunct, also known as angular, which is when notes move in wide leaps. Then parallel. This is when harmonies come in, really. But when more than one melody is played at the same time, if they move in tandem with each other, both moving down at the same time and moving up at the same time, that's called parallel. Well, when melodies move in the same direction. And finally, contrary, the opposite to parallel, when melodies move in the opposite direction to each other. Now, melodic devices. First, we're going to check out some ornaments. The following are examples of ornaments. These are little decorations to make a melody more interesting, adding a little flair. Not only do you need to identify when they are used in set works, but they can also help you improve your marks in your composition if used appropriately. First of all, a turn. The note above, the note you wish to play, the note below, then the note you wish to play again. An inverted turn starts with a note below, not above. So as you can see, starts with a note above the note you want to play, then the actual notated note. As you can see, that's this note here, the notated note, then a note below, then a note above. We're going to listen to what a turn actually sounds like now. Obviously, those many repeated turns, but that is what it sounds like. Note above, main note, note below, main note. And then it goes on and on like that. And that was an inverted turn. Now a mordant. It starts with a note you wish to play, the note below, then back to the first note. An inverted mordant just goes up instead of down. So instead of starting on a note above or below the note you wish to play, it starts on the note you wish to play. Very slight difference to turn, but there is a difference. Here's a mordant. Now an inverted mordant. Glissando, also known as slide in pop music terms, when sliding from one note to another. Sometimes it will say gliss, sometimes it will just be a straight line connecting two dots. Now, obviously, on an instrument such as a piano, which can't just slide, it will sound like a rapid succession of notes, either ascending or descending, depending on the direction of the line. So that was an ascending glissando each time. You heard the super cheesy slide first, and then the rapid succession of notes signifying a glissando as a second example. Now, even more ornaments to equip yourself to bulk up your arsenal to be able to add some flair to your playing and your compositions. A trill, which is alternating rapidly between the note you wish to play and a semitone above. Notated, you can see what it sounds like, and then the simplified version, what it actually looks like. And we haven't covered this before, a natural note, which is what the arrow is pointing to. This just means it is neither sharp nor flat. So it's playing the note, going sharp, and then natural, sharp, natural. A harpsichord uses loads of trills in order to replace a sustained note. because a harpsichord plucked strings rather than striking them with a mallet, so it couldn't ring out. Instead, it played lots of trills to be able to replicate sustaining a note. Acciaccatura, one of the most fun ornaments to say, also called a grace note, is a very quick note played before the beat of the main notated note. That's what it's notated as. This is what it sounds like. I added the metronome in there to be able to compare with the appoggiatura, which is a note played on the beat, not before the beat, on the beat of the main notated note, stealing some of the notated note's time. So again, very, very, very slight difference. This is why acciaccatura is almost always used anyway, instead of an appoggiatura. But this is what an appoggiatura sounds like. Very slight difference, in my opinion. Hardly any difference at all. But that is what the difference is between an acciaccatura and an appoggiatura. Now, ostinati, the plural of ostinato, or riffs, as the pop music term. What this means is a short, repeated melody. Now, here in this example, we've got notated 3 different parts. We're going to listen to Funky Town by Lip Sync, and we have the main synthesizer playing the most notable melody, that then we got the bass part just doing the octaves, boom 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 boom, and then we've got the cowbell part down here as well. 3 different parts, but ostinatos, constantly repeating what they're playing. Now, imitation. Imitation is when one instrument imitates another instrument's melody. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but close enough to be easily recognizable. Here in this example, though, it is exactly the same. And I've included J.S. Bach's Brandenburg Concerto in D major, the 3rd movement, which is an Edexcel set work alert, as an example. You can see this is the first melody played only by the violin. The flute then imitates the melody played by the violin. Let's give it a listen. So, I stand corrected, obviously not exactly the same, but rhythm is exactly the same. Notes are very similar, but changed slightly to be able to harmonize. That is imitation. Counterpoint is when one part plays a short melody and then sustains a note, whilst another part plays a melody over the top of the sustained note. Here, part 1 plays a melody, then sustains a note. Part 2 plays a melody under the sustained note, or over the top, however you want to look at it, using imitation. Then part 1 repeats over the top of the sustained note by part 2. And we're going to listen to this. This is the electric guitars playing at the beginning of a track by Avenged Sevenfold called Lost. Now, sequence. Sequence is a repeated short melody, either rising or falling by 1 note each time. And in this example, we're going to listen to Music for a While by Henry Purcell. Again, Edexcel GCSE set work alert. In this part, Eased is part 1 of the sequence. Then it's the same melody. Yes, even though it's only 2 notes, it is referred to as a melody or a phrase, is repeated, but only 1 note lower. Then, 3rd part, the same 2 rhythms, but it's repeated, the pitch is 1 note lower on the scale. Now, we're going to look at pedal. A pedal is a repeated or sustained note, usually in the bass, not always, but usually. And it's also known as a drone, depending on the style of music. In this example, released by Afro-Celt Sound System at XL GCSE Set Work Alert! This is the notation for the synthesizer part, and you can see in the left hand, in the bass part, there's a drone, always going on throughout the whole song. It's the sustained note played in the bass. So that was a pedal or a drone. In this lesson, we have covered a huge variety of melodic devices, and we looked at different motions that melodic phrases can take. And you are most welcome. You've got all those melodic devices to apply and arm yourself with when performing and doing perhaps an improvised solo, when you're composing and introducing melodic devices to rank up those points to get as many points as possible, as long as it's used appropriately, remember, and also to listen out for when analyzing music. You are most welcome. Please check out the definitions that are attached, print them out, keep them, and feel free to use them as revision resources, flashcards, however you wish. And I shall see you in the next course, where we will start to look at harmony.